welcome in to another Friday Night in the Boot. Steve Schneider welcoming in Brett Beard, who earned, along with his team, a number 4 seed and a first-round bye. So
yeah,
you got BB and SS. Make of that what you want.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on. I'm excited to be here. Talk a little ball tonight.
Absolutely. We're going to go through about 23 ball games like we normally do, 22 or 23, and let's get you started. Obviously, a lot of teams off this first week, first-round byes like the Yellow Jackets, but a lot of teams playing to advance. It's win or go home, and we're going to start in the Catholic League. This was a battle between Rummel, who we just saw at the Shrine last week against Carr, taking on Holy Cross, and the Tigers, the lower seed, trying to prove themselves. Cardi Duplessis scrambles, but he's sacked right there by Jacoby Dunn.
Great dance right there. Kids got it.
Got the celebration down. Raiders then go to work on offense. Their newly found quarterback, Nathaniel Singleton Jr., hits Jaden Terrence on the screen. Watch out. Here he goes, putting on the moves. 41-yard play. And then 2 plays later, they're going to do the push as Coran Hawkins plows in for the touchdown, and the Raiders go in front 7-0. Next possession, and it's going to be the Raiders. Singleton dropping back, and he's going to fire this pass. However, the Tigers have the man in place. Brennan Green Jr. intercepts and takes it deep into Raider territory where they take over, but not for long. Duplessis looking for the slant, but he gets picked by Gavin Cooper Jr., and the Raiders go right back on offense, looking to add a score before halftime. And what you don't do after you get a turnover, Coach?
Yep, give it back.
Give it right back.
Don't want to give it back. Use that momentum.
Landon Roddy stepped in for the interception, so it was 7-0 at the break. Third quarter, though, they do get the gate swinging. Terrence with a little Le'Veon Bell finds the lane. 14-0 Raiders at that point, and they go on to win this one by a final of 24-0. So a great defensive effort for those Raiders after facing Carr the week before.
Yeah, I mean, look, typical Catholic League game. Guys well coached, 2 teams getting after it, slugfest. Being a defensive guy, I love seeing some good defense in the shutout. You got to be excited about that.
Now, you're going to be maybe a little confused with some of the games we're going to show you, because you're going to say, hey, you guys just had that on last week.
Yeah.
But there are some matchups.
Yeah, look, I've been on both ends of it. It's never pretty. It's never fun. And, with the PowerPoint system, you got to do it.
And then that's what we have right now as we take you to Acadiana. Going to take a look at the Karen Crow Acadiana matchup. And, of course, these guys are big rivals, 51st meeting. They just played last week. The Wrecking Rams at home, and Karen Crow tries the trick play, but it's picked off. Travis Galian gets the Rams a field goal out of that and a 3-0 lead. The Bears would respond, though, and, man, they've got a big playmaker. How do you like Chance Babineau?
The kid's he's electric. I mean, look, on these 2 teams right here got a lot of dudes on there. It's a lot of fun to watch, this kid being one of them.
Nichols commit, Warwick Dunn watch list player. 73 yards of the house, 7-3 Bears go in front, but doesn't last long. It's going to be an option pitch to Deion Simon. 16-yard gain and a first down for the Wrecking Rams. Later, their quarterback, Martina, caps off the drive with a touchdown. Ty makes it a 9-7 Rams lead. But right before half, check that out. It's a dime to Brandon Duffy, 15-yard fade, 14-9 at that point. Karen Crow had the lead, but it is Acadiana that comes back in the second half. They get the win. The Wrecking Rams are advancing as they win 29-21. Now 8-4 on the year. Karen Crow calls it a season at 6-5.
Yeah, look, that's two heavyweights right there. Big rivalry game. A lot of fun to watch these 2 get after it and tie it up. What I love about this show is I get to see more than I usually get to see right here, and to see these 2 tie it up 2 weeks in a row. Hats off to Acadiana. Handling that and big rivalry game 2 weeks in a row and moving on.
Well, Coach, you're invited to rush home every Friday night and check out Friday Night at the Boot if you want.
So hard after a night's work. After a night's work, it's tough to do.
All right, let's take you back to the Catholic League. Brother Martin taking on the Liberty Patriots out of Baton Rouge. We're in the Crescent City at Tad Gormley. Crusaders come out hot on a third down. Hudson Fields hits Easton Royal. Speaking of Warwick Dunn watch list players, this guy, an exciting guy all year long with the speed and the moves, 30 yards on that play. Then Fields will roll to his left, and go to Brody DeMonche. That's a big pickup for a Crusader first down. They'll cap the drive with a jet sweep to Jack Melanson. Hate to see that as a defensive coach.
Yeah, I mean, look, first guy's got to secure the tackle, second guy's got to try to get that ball out, but you got to give on the ground. You can't give up the big plays.
Crusader fans excited, their team up 7-0. Then the Crusaders playing some D. Bryce Preston, a talented guy, Connor Nairn on the screen, but in comes Grant Gilbo, the strip. Luca Canizaro recovers. Crusaders on the takeaway in second quarter. Brother Martin defense comes up with another big stop as Liberty tried to pull off the fake punt. But Grant Gilbo again to blow it up, and a few minutes later the offense capitalized. Hudson Fields to Rex LeBlanc in the flat, shakes the defender and scores the touchdown, putting up Brother Martin by 2 scores. And they hang on to win. This was not a dominating performance by any stretch. Liberty Magnet,
yep.
You thought you were pretty impressed with them this year. 17-16 as they bow out 9-2.
Yeah, big fan of Jimmy Zachary and the job he's done with Liberty. Again, the Catholic League's unbelievable. You talk about battle tested, every one of those teams and what they go through all year. Anytime you go into New Orleans and have to compete with one of these teams, you got to strap it on. And Jimmy, hats off to Jimmy Zachary for a great job and almost pulling that one off.
And with it being a 16-17 matchup, then the reward is what? Getting the #1 seed next time?
Carr's pretty good.
they happen to be, and of course that'll be a rematch as well. All right, let's get one more game in this block, and that would be De La Salle, Graham Jarrett, and his Cavaliers in Baton Rouge taking on Episcopal, and in the third quarter, they're already up 39-0. The Knights are trying to get on the board as their quarterback, Zach Hughes, drops back to pass, fires it, but Malachi Jackson, almost, you can view this in slow-mo, the way he played the receiver and stepped in and picked it off. And then we're going to speed it up because he's going to take it to the house for the touchdown. Cavaliers with a convoy. That's a pick six and a 45-0 lead. Now the Knights would still try to respond and get a score with the game and the running clock later in the game. Hugh fires this one, but in this collision, Bryson Hauser for the Cavaliers is injured and actually was motionless on the field. A lot of concern by his teammates and the people in the stadium to see that occur. And he was taken to the hospital. Lots of emotion. We have heard from Coach Jarrett. He said that he is starting to have some feelings in his legs, but is coming back slow. And we will pass along any other updates we get. Coach, whenever you deal with something like this, it hurts.
It's a tough game, and you hate to see any kid go through this and deal with this. You hate to see the teammates have to deal with this. The parents have to see it from the stands, and we do play a tough game, and these things can happen. You just hope the kid's okay, and shakes back, and keep him in your prayers and everything else, and hope that kid makes it back to normal and feeling good here soon. We
absolutely will do that, and you see the final score as De La Salle wins that by a final of, I guess it's 45-14. It was 45, not 46. All right, we're just getting started here. Friday night in the boot. Steve Schneider and Brett Beard back with more. Stay right there.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
So it's going to come down to this.
Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
The LHSAA Network TV app features a 24/7 live channel as well as on-demand content with all the high school sports you want, and it's totally free. The app is available for download on TV-connected devices, including Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. It's the only place where every day is game day. Download the LHSAA Network TV app today.
And welcome back to Friday Night in the Boot, week one of the playoffs. Steve Schneider along with Brett Beard, and you scouted Zachary tonight against Selman, right?
Yep,
And
yep.
we had them in our week 9 game, Central and Zachary.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I love going to Zachary. You know, it's been a while. You know, we used to be in district together, so it's fun to go see those guys. And you know, anytime you get to see Brewerton in action, a lot of good football played, and it's a big-time program.
They dominated Salmon in that game, and of course, I went out for the Central Dutchtown game for a while. You saw both of those teams this year.
Yeah, David Simoneau, Guy Mastretta, two guys that are phenomenal head football coaches that have built great programs and tough competitors, and two programs that they just get it done on a weekend basis. And it's a lot of fun to compete against those guys, and they got their kids playing at an elite level, and it's always fun to tie it up with guys you respect like that.
Let's get to the highlights, and this was certainly a physical battle from what I saw out there. Of course, Central, that's kind of how they won the state championship last year.
Yeah, both very physical teams. A lot of fun to be on the field with. They play it the right way.
Max Gassiot, the quarterback for the Wildcats, quickly goes to work. Keithan Womack, 6-0. Central jumps out in front right out the bat. Next Wildcats drive, and they're going to rely on Marvin Joseph, who obviously made a big play in our game against Zachary. In this case, showing his shake and bake as he gets the first down. A few plays later, it's a 4th and goal from the 1, and Brody Knaps was wearing number 43 tonight. Thought that was kind of interesting, but the touchdown, they did miss extra points and then at 2 points, so it was only 12-0 to show for those 2 touchdowns. As we go to the second quarter, it's a 3rd and goal for Dutchtown. Owen Fletcher, the Griffins' fine quarterback, stopped by Alexander Stewart, so they settle for the field goal. 12-3 your score at that point. Gassiot then up the sideline, a complete pass there to backup quarterback Corey Platt. That's a first down, and again they go to Knaps. I think this is about the time that I was getting there as he rolled into the end zone for a 19-3 lead. Now, Fletcher did have some big plays while he was in at quarterback, including a big run on this sequence. The guy had over 200 yards rushing in one of their big wins. I think it was against Santa Mara.
Yeah, he's electric. He's tough to stop, and when he gets going, he gets going.
When he gets it downhill, he can certainly lay it down. Later in the drive, a 4th and goal, and Fletcher takes a big hit. Have you ever seen a touchdown pass with the lack of a spiral like that?
Sometimes a little luck, and sometimes players make big plays. There you go.
That was certainly interesting to watch. Probably the strangest thing I saw all night. 19-10 at that point. Play Walker, incomplete on 3rd down, and then Camden Rankman laid the big hit. An interception. They also blocked a punt. Central special teams put the ball at the 1-yard line as Lane Billings got his hand on that. Jamike Garrett on the recovery, and then Gassiot goes in on a quarterback sneak. This game was 32-10 at the half as Central scored on all 5 possessions in the first half, and they win this one by big time, 52-24.
Yeah, Central always tends to get really, really hot at the time you got to get hot, and I mean it looks like they're no different than normal right here. So they're going to be a tough one to beat week in and week out, every round right here. They're going to get better because that coaching staff is they're a phenomenal staff that pushes those kids, and they play the right way. So it's going to be a tough one.
LHSA Network excited to bring you games of the week for the playoffs this year on Friday instead of Thursday in our first game. Look at the scene at Westgate hosting Airline. Love these drone shots with our new technology to give you a real feel for the location, the campuses, the stadiums. Chase Williams going to drop back to pass, and that's not the way you want to start if you're the Vikings. Airline suffering a pick six by Zaire Stokes. 6-0. Tigers go in front. Plenty of celebrating on the sidelines as well. The next Westgate possession, well, Noah Antoine, of course, is the nephew of the head coach, Ryan Antoine, who's done a great job with that program. And he hooks up with Brock Mitchell for the touchdown. A 2-point conversion follows that. And Westgate, just like that, is up 14-0. And Airline, after a 3-and-out, has to punt. Caden Lancelot, one of the top players in 2028. What do you think of him on this punt return?
Yeah, this is electric right here. You see him, he reverses field, he makes a few guys miss. And the biggest thing is he finishes the run. And that's a big-time return right there. And anytime you got a kid like that on the field for you is nice.
53 yards and a flash. It's 21-0. Doesn't get better for Airline as Williams is picked off again. This time it's Shaden Lee. The Vikings in the second quarter give up a safety, and then check out this touchdown pass from Antoine to Lancelin, hooking up 41 yards this time. Westgate is rolled out to a 29-0 lead in the second. Tigers not done. Mitchell in the Wildcat. He scores his second touchdown, 31 yards and a 35-0 lead. Coach, what do you do if you're Airline at this point?
Well, I mean, you're in the playoffs, so you belong here, and the clock hasn't struck zero, so you got to continue to play. You got to pull out all stops, and you just got to keep your kids playing. And you never know what's going to happen. The ball is going to bounce different, and it's going to be crazy, and you got to keep playing for 48 minutes.
And Terrence Hayes showed you exactly what they do in that situation as he gets it down to the 2. Then 5-star Kenny Darby, a receiver they have to put at running back to get touches, gets the touchdown, and it's a 35-7 game. Still in the second quarter, another touchdown for Westgate. Antoine hooking up with Raheem Alem, 54 yards. It's 43-7 at halftime. Yikes.
You better dig in. Still got football to play, though.
Yes, you do. And Antoine, another long touchdown to Lancelin. 45 yards on that one. It's now a 49-7 game. The Vikings would see number 0, Phoenix Padaway, score his first touchdown of the season. This is a 41-yard sprint up the sideline that makes it a 49-14 game. And then Darby looks like he's going to close out the night with his second touchdown. Check out as he hauls in the pass, but as he gets to that goal line, the Tigers defense with the takeaway, denying him a chance to score. So in this case, Westgate's Tigers, lots of celebrating, them and their fans, as the score would remain 49-14 the final. Airline finishing the year at 7-4. Westgate at 7-4 has played a tough schedule, and we saw kind of what the result of that is, right?
Yeah, a battle-tested group with probably one of my favorite young head coaches in the state. That guy does a phenomenal job week in and week out, gets his kids to play. He's got some electric players. He puts them in the spot to make plays, and they make plays for the guy. So, really impressed by Coach Antoine. Always have been. Followed him for a few years now, and that's a scary Westgate team. Every week, that's a scary team to play.
Absolutely. Lots of athletes, and they know how to hurt you in so many different ways.
And then holding Airline to 14.
Yeah.
That's an offense that's really explosive from North Louisiana, and to hold them to 14 is impressive.
So we've said it already. Some of the teams that just played in Week 10 playing each other again. We saw it with Karen Crow and Acadiana. How about this matchup? Bonneville beat Riverdale for the first time in Week 10 and took the district championship. They're matched up in the playoffs, and the very first play of the game, Riverdale getting a little revenge. Lance Simmons hits the clutch. He's long gone, 80 yards all the way to the house. Rebels out 7-0.
Yeah, tough deal to go back-to-back with a team right here, so it's exciting to watch.
Of course, later in the first, that's a big night for the Bruins duo. Carl Perkins to Raheem Williams, 22-yard score right there, knots it up at 7-7. Plenty of defense as well. That's Quincy Jackson in the backfield for the backside sack. In the second quarter, back to the Kenner connection. It's Perkins to Williams again, right in the breadbasket, 42 yards into your living room, 14-7. Man, when you have a duo like that, it can make it tough. Some really good defense from the Rebels to close out the half, though, as Sabiron Farrell, the tip drill to himself, responding with the deep ball. Then just when you think Bonneville's going to score right before the half, Cole Moses going to say, no, sir. Swats that ball out of there.
Big-time play.
Yep, goes out of the back of the end zone. It's a touchback, so no score there. All right, after an uneventful third quarter, how about more defense and then Perkins to Williams. 8 yards on that one. 21-7. The Bruins got it rolling, but it's not quite over. Ensuing kickoff. And how about this?
Yeah, that's a pretty kid right there. Look, goes almost untouched. I mean, you can't give the momentum back.
21-14, but the Bruins feel like it's time to win this game and lock it up. Tyree Brewer puts it on ice. 36-yard house call. He had 190 yards rushing, and for the first time since 1997, 28 years ago, the Bruins' 28 points gets them a victory over Riverdale, second week in a row. Both teams an 8-3 record, but Riverdale's done.
Hats off to both teams. I mean, great seasons by both teams. You know, traditionally, you haven't seen or mentioned their name a whole lot. And, you know, both of them are storming onto the scene right here and making waves and playing good football.
When we started the network, they said, hey, you're always going to hear about the Edna Cars and the Rumble Raiders and John Curtis, but we're glad to be able to share highlights around the state and around the country with some of these other programs up and coming.
Well, I mean, these kids work hard too, you know, and it's fun to see these young head coaches take these programs, turn them around, make them relevant, and anytime you get these kids to play hard, it's a lot of fun to watch. And, you know, hats off to Bonneville and Riverdale both for playing good football this year.
All right, we're going to take another timeout. Still a lot to come on Friday Night in the Boot. Stay right there.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The start of school means the start of new sports seasons, which unfortunately can mean injuries. Too often, sports injuries are treated with opioids, leading to addiction among our youth. And drug addictions can cause overdoses and deaths. If you're injured, ask your doctor for medicines and therapies that don't use opioids. And if you're struggling with opioid addiction, we can offer treatment. Opioid addiction is a losing game. You can help. Learn more at realhelpvr.com. That's realhelpvr.com.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
And welcome back into Friday Night in the Boot. Steve Schneider along with Denham Springs head coach Brett Beard. And this matchup, two Division I non-select teams, I thought was really fascinating because both of them, although not, you know, at the very top tier, have certainly played great football, won a lot of games, had a lot of excitement for their players. Talking about Santa Maus Gators and the Lions of Ouachita.
Yeah, this is one I had marked that I was really excited to see the outcome. You know, Benji Lewis, David Oliver, two guys I got a lot of respect for that do a phenomenal job building programs. So this was one I had marked. I was intrigued to see a North Louisiana, South Louisiana matchup.
A lot of defense early, and then the Lions offense comes alive. Of course, Montrell Connor hitting Kayvon Whitlock over the top, 15th reception, breaking tackles, doesn't go down until a 38-yard pickup, and there it's the ground game. MJ Dade jukes the defender, 15 yards into the end zone, his 6th rushing touchdown of the year, 7-0. Lions go in front, 9 minutes left in the second quarter. Gators then on a 3rd and 2 from their 47. Cooper Bavin, the quarterback, rolls to his right. Ow! Wydell Clark followed his eyes and came right into your living room or the camera, whichever you prefer. First interception of the season. Ouachita, however, goes 3 and out. 70-yard punt, though. Trey Johnson, Santa Maus back at its own 1-yard line. Bavin taking the pitch, and that's a big play there for Fremont, making O.D. Fremont making the hit. Connor secures the highest snap. He's got 2,200 yards. That's his 11th rushing touchdown. Washita up 14-0. But Sanamaw on a 4th and 5 from the 35, a minute left in the half. Babin shows you what he can do. Drops that one in the bucket to Tyrone Springs. It's down to the 2. Babin would punch it in from 1 yard out, 14-7. Gators recover a onside kick starting the third quarter. Then Jordan Hickerson, a 37-yard touchdown. How about the big man carry?
Like a big D lineman with the rock, right? You can tell how excited he is. He has a former D lineman. This is something to be excited about.
I know. Cam Allen, 313-pounder. Big man reception, and then Connor on the keeper. 75-yard drive, capped with the 15-yard touchdown. His 40th of his senior campaign. Washita up 24-14 with 8 minutes to go. The Gators 4th and 3 from the 32. Babin was a killer all night with his legs. He finds the edge, makes the defender miss. 32-yard score, 24-21 with 5.5 minutes to go. But hey, all they have to do is keep the control of the ball, which they do very well, run out the clock, that first down, clinching the Lions' victory over the Gators, 24-21. Their first playoff win in a couple of years, and both teams now 7-4, but the Gators done for the year.
Yeah, two really good football teams right there. You know, Washita, I've heard a lot about being really scary, and looking at those highlights, very impressive. Had some really impressive kids. Benji Lewis does a great job. Hats off to David Oliver. Sanamaw, always one of my favorite teams to go up against. Always tough, play the game the right way. Cooper Babin's had a phenomenal career there. Been a lot of fun to be a part of, compete against, and I'm glad to see him go.
All right, we've got many more games and highlights to get to. Let's tell you about this one. I believe this is
Avoyelles St. Helena.
It is Avoyelles and St. Helena. Couldn't figure that out for a moment. But St. Helena on the road, a big underdog in this game, and we're having a little difficulty with our video playing there in slow mo. I'm not exactly sure. Well, we can say that KALB provided the highlights, and the home team had their way in this game. St. Helena did pull in a touchdown right there, but look at that block.
Did St. Helena win this football game? Yeah, I thought they did. Yeah.
26.
Yeah, neighboring parish to us in Livingston Parish. Always a tough win. Always are a tough team to play against. They play the game the right way. Those kids play hard up there. It's been a lot of fun to watch them, and being so close, being in Livingston Parish. I thought I'd seen where they had pulled this out.
Yeah, and obviously early the highlights were the Mustangs, and St. Helena, to their credit, hung in there and eventually took off, and the Hawks will advance while the Avoyelles sees their season come to an end. All right, much more of Friday Night in the Boot. Stay right there.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard. Part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
At Breck Golf Courses, we focus on the highest level of play. That means award-winning courses, state-of-the-art practice facilities, unique shot-making opportunities, and tournament-level playing experiences. With 2 championship courses located in the parish, Beaver Creek and Santa Maria courses make the perfect setting to test your golf skills. Find your next hole-in-one with Breck Golf.
So it's going to come down to this.
Can they do it? Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute. There's a flag on the play!
When looking for college, I wanted somewhere that would push me and allow me to kind of be the person I'd always wanted to be.
Everyone here kind of has this mindset of seeing the next person succeed, and I think that just creates a Southern Miss spirit.
You find what you need out of Southern Miss. What I need isn't what another student needs, but we all find something here.
You don't have to be what people have said you've been. You don't have to be what people think you are. Like, coming to Southern Miss, you can totally reinvent yourself and be who you truly feel like you are meant to be.
Welcome back to Friday Night in the Boot. Seeing that St. Helena outburst and 58 points made me think of a game that Barb had earlier in the year. Yeah. The game was supposedly over, and then all of a sudden, 70 points scored. They were in a battle tonight with Northwood of Shreveport. So.
Yeah, Barb's had one of the more impressive offenses in the state, if you follow along, a little bit that I've seen.
So Northwood's Falcons were down 28-14 at halftime. The first play of the second half for Northwood, not good. The ball pops loose, the Buccaneers recover, and it doesn't take long for them to strike. As a matter of fact, the next play, they're going to hand off to Jordan Griffin, and here he goes. In for the touchdown. Now Barb is up by a 35-14 score on Northwood. Falcons would need a spark on offense. John Sneed going to give it to him right here, breaking off the big run, gets them deep into Barb territory later in the drive. It's a 4th down at the goal line. Falcons a trick play, but the Bucks aren't biting. They end up turning over on downs. The Bucks with the defensive stand, which is nice to see with all those points being scored. And they're about to give it right back. The Falcons defense, 70 yards. Griffin for a big gain into the red zone, and they end up with a touchdown for a 42-14 lead at that point. They end up with I guess what would be considered an upset since they were on the road.
Yeah, this Northwood Shreveport team, we followed them last week because we were watching them in front of us in the PowerPoints and did a little research. Really explosive team, but Barb, they say that offense has really been a lot of fun to watch, and you can tell by that quarterback and that running back, they got some special playmakers.
Prolific, 49 points on the board, and Barb will advance. All right, let's take you back to the Acadiana area, Ville Platte and Lauraville. And Lauraville's Fighting Tigers. The host team, Ville Platte on the road, second quarter, the Tigers are up 13-0. Blake Delcom will fight his way forward with a big gain right there in the second quarter. Tigers eventually get in position to find the end zone, and it's Blaze Romero. 21-0. Tigers in front right there as they're having their way. Delcom tried to push for more points, but in this case, Delcom left the football behind. It's on the ground, it's a fumble, and that means the Bulldogs have a chance to score. Penalties push them back, though. On a 4th down, they're going to try a fake punt from their own end zone.
Impressive call.
Would you ever try that?
I guess you got to pull out all stops.
I guess. And sure enough, Elijah Buxton finds Chavio Tizzino. Bulldogs get on the board and cut that lead to 21-6. However, Lauraville would answer later as Delcom will play a little pitch and catch with Quentin Taylor, and the Tigers roll into the end zone again, and they roll in this one 28-6. Lauraville eliminates Ville Platte in that matchup, so congratulations to them getting it done. They're now 8-3. Ville Platte's Bulldogs end the season at 4-7. How about some more Catholic League publicity as Jesuit, the 17th seed, taking on McDonough 35, the 16th seed. First snap for the Blue Jays. They're going to hand it off to Gavin Palmisano, and he breaks free and goes deep into the red zone before he's finally pushed out of bounds. However, a few plays later, he would finish the drive, punch it in, and the Blue Jays take a 7-0 lead. Later in the first, Jesuit back on offense. Their quarterback, Taylor Norton, fakes the handoff, and downfield, Jair Burks takes it in for the touchdown. Jesuit pushes that lead out to 14-0. They wouldn't stop there. They're going to run a little play action. Norton deep again to Burks, same result. 20-0. What's the old saying? Make them stop it.
That's it. If it's rolling, keep it rolling.
Palmisano, then the handoff up the middle. He gets by everyone. He's into the end zone for his second touchdown. Blue Jays at that point led it 27-0, and Jesuit would win big. Final score in this one was 46-7. So the Blue Jays, 6-5, live to play another day. McDonough 35 sees its season end with a 7-4 mark.
Again, one of those battle-tested Catholic League schools that you know that are always going to be tough. I mean, to see them in the first round, no matter what their record is, you throw all that out when you get in the playoffs because all those schools have beat up on each other. Great players, great coaches, and always a tough team.
If you don't have a strong district, you look for non-district battles that will get you ready. They
Absolutely.
don't have that problem.
No, that is a gauntlet down there. I got a lot of respect for all those programs and coaches down there. So look, that's a tough draw and another battle-tested win for the old Catholic League.
Still got a lot of video to get to the next 20 minutes here on Friday Night in the Boot. Steve Schneider along with the Denham Springs coach, Brett Beard, back after this.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
Welcome back to Friday Night in the Boot. Homer and Haynesville is a big rivalry this year in the regular season. Haynesville won pretty handily, but Homer hoping to earn a rematch with those guys if they can get by the Hornets of Franklin. Franklin, of course, has had a lot of excitement on the basketball side, and their football coach coaches basketball to those championships. How could they get it done on the field,
That's impressive. Now, Homer was in the Dome last year, 2 years ago, so they know how to win. They know how to play.
Well, Homer Stanley Williams recovered that football right there, so it's a turnover. And then Jeremiah Wafer is going to go to Chantravion fielding. And, yeah, the Homer's going to take the lead, a handoff to Jamarian Pickens. And 7-0 lead over the Hornets at that point. Franklin had trouble early in this game. As you can see, their quarterback is kind of swarmed by the Homer defense. Imagine that, a Hornet getting swarmed. But this was a close game. Homer hangs on to win in the end. 21-20 was the final as Franklin certainly made a good showing. To go on the road and head north like that, that's a long trip. Just 1 point shy.
Yeah, look, two small communities that got after it. You know, that's a lot of fun to watch. You know, that football. I love watching that level. You know, two communities that probably shut down, follow their guys, and you know, what a tough one to you know, lose 21-20, but also a great win for Homer.
Still to come on Friday Night in the Boot. We're going to be talking about a team that's been in the championship. But first, let's take a look at the Country Day Cajuns battling Beekman Charter. Now, Beekman Charter scored 86 points the last time they were out, but the Cajuns offense with Hudson Wright going to Justin Drago in the flat, 23-yard touchdown, 7-0. Beekman with the rock, but hey, it's a fumble. Paul Curry would scoop it up. He goes the other way, and that's another Country Day touchdown. So just like that, 14-0. Country Day didn't score 86 points like Beekman did last week, but they were in control of this game from the outset. 4th and goal at the 2. It's Drago squeezing it in for the touchdown. The two-pointer made it 22-7. Then right to George Blessey, 10-yard touchdown, 29-7 Cajuns in front. Blessey again, 12-yard score, 36-7 Cajuns. And then the last play of the first half, folks, this is just like what we saw Westgate do. 43 points on the board for the Cajuns. Cameron Henry right at the buzzer, 43-7. Curtis McAllister, Deuce's son, the sophomore, does the rest on that play to make it 50-7. How about a final score in this one? 56-15.
Wow, and I tell you what, I mean, the best way to negate a big-time offense or a team that could put up 80 points is start fast and don't hit the gas or don't hit the brakes. I mean, just stay on the gas.
Behind.
That's it. Make them do things they don't want to do, and hats off to Country Day for moving on.
I mentioned teams in the Dome. Can they bounce back? Can they get back? We're about to take a look a little bit later at Catholic New Iberia, who obviously celebrated a championship last year, a great thing for them. They were playing a home game to start the first round against Glen Oaks. We'll have that and a lot more coming up.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard. Part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
No one ever thinks they'll be in this position. Buying medication online could put you here, or here, or here. Counterfeit pills and other illicit substances are being laced with fentanyl, and fentanyl kills. It's 50 times stronger than heroin. Medical professionals can't even tell the difference between a real pill and one that is fake. At least not until they do your autopsy. Don't take anything online that doesn't come from your doctor. Buying online can leave you flatlined.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Welcome back to Friday Night in the Boot, week 1 of the playoffs. Steve Schneider, Brett Beard, and Coach, you get to the Superdome, you win a championship. Now we expect it again.
Yeah, look, hey, you start over. You start the climb again. You reload, and hey, you know how to win now. Your program's been elite. Yep. Now you got to figure out a way to go again.
Let's check out the Panthers against the Panthers. Catholic High of New Iberia taking on Glen Oaks first round, and there they are.
Good to see old Glen Oaks back in it.
Yes, indeed. And here's the opening kickoff. Shanked off a Glen Oaks player and recovered by Blues Husho. So that's a decent start. And then Catholic New Iberia on offense turns that into a score. Xander LeBeau to Owen Morris for the score, 7-0. Catholic of New Iberia in front. Glen Oaks with a possession now, and Jairus Rito is their quarterback. Going to try to make something happen in the offensive passing game right here. However, it's Gavin Kading in there for the pick. And so now Catholic New Iberia will have a chance to add on. And they're going to go to Morris once again, and he is going to make it pay off as he comes right into your living room and right across the goal line for the touchdown. 14-0, Catholic New Iberia in front. Glen Oaks does get it going on offense, though. Cordarius Jackson with a nice pick-off for Glen Oaks. However, on a 4th down, they decide to go for it, try to make something happen, and that's not going to do it. So, in the end, Catholic High of New Iberia rolls big in this one, 52-0. They're now 9-2. Glen Oaks sees its season come to an end with a 3-8 mark. All right, how about DeRidder and Eunice? DeRidder was the home team. The Dragons bringing in the Bobcats for this one, first quarter, and the running back Connor Rushford will find a hole and take it in for the score. 7-0, Dragons jump in front. DeRidder up 14-0, second quarter. Michael Parmley will find Jaden Merriweather for the score. Dragons now build that lead to 21-0 in the second quarter. And they kept their foot on the gas. Javon Fairley in for the touchdown, 28-0. DeRidder did kind of take it off the gas eventually.
Yeah, again, you know what, two small communities, you can see it was an electric atmosphere right there. You love seeing these two get after it, and you know, hats off to the Dragons for moving on. I mean, to win a playoff game, we all know in this state to win games is a tough deal. So, you know, big win for them to open up their playoff season.
All right, still to come on Friday Night at the Boot. We're going to take you around the state with some of the scores of the games that we don't have highlights from, but we do have more highlights. Imagine that you wait years and years and years to build a stadium, and the year that you open it, you actually get to host a playoff game.
Yeah, I've lived it before. It's kind of a nice feeling. I mean,
yes, it is.
We actually were on the road all year up until it was time for the playoffs. So, you know, it was a lot of fun for our kids. You know, you'd been on a lot of bus rides and you know, playing home games at Walker, playing home games at Live Oak just to get our stadium built, which hats off to those schools that took care of us. But it is fun to open up in the playoffs in a new environment.
So St. Michael's Warriors had that experience. When we come back, we'll check out their game tonight against LaRangers. Stay right there.
The LHSAA Network TV app features a 24/7 live channel as well as on-demand content with all the high school sports you want, and it's totally free. The app is available for download on TV-connected devices, including Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. It's the only place where every day is game day. Download the LHSAA Network TV app today.
So it's going to come down to this.
Can they do it? Oh, no, they missed it! Wait a minute. There's a flag on the play!
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard. Part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Welcome back to Friday Night in the Boot. Steve Schneider and Brett Beard. Brett, early in your coaching career, you were Destrehan, I guess?
I was. Spent time with the head coach of Hahnville, Greg Boyne.
Yeah, and back in those days, a 91-point game would not be typical.
No, we played a lot of really good defense at Destrehan for sure. But again, Greg Boyne's a great offensive mind. who's been there, done that, won a lot of big-time games, and they expect nothing different from him as a head coach.
So Hahnville was taking on Slidell, the Green Tigers, and I'll tell you what, Tigers and Tigers, either way you do it.
The Tigers will win.
Yeah, a lot of teams in Louisiana have the Tigers name. Anyway, right off the bat, it's Landon Teague up top to Bennett Knockan, and an early 7-0 lead. Next Hahnville possession, a Wildcat action. Knockan gets it out to Aaron Williams. The speedster does the rest. Down the home sideline and into the end zone. And tell you what, Hahnville having their way. 2 plays later, Teague gets it done behind a barrage of extraordinary gentlemen. 14-0, Hahnville in front. Look at the atmosphere there. Great crowd. Second quarter, more of the same. Teague, the pitch and catch to Williams. Man, they were out 24-0 on Slidell.
Yeah, they started fast.
Right before the half, Ricky Williams III will fire a dart to Michael Thompson, and the other Tigers about to make some noise as they get down into the red zone with that one. And they make good on that trip into the red zone. A mismatch in size right here as Williams will hook up with his big tight end, Jeremiah Birdlow. And 24-6 was the score at the halftime. But don't sleep on the Slidell Tigers. They would mount a comeback in the third. Another Williams faking the run. A wide open Birdlow cuts the lead to 24-12. Hahnville, though, quick response. Teague, all kinds of weapons. Here's another one. Gavias Singleton with the touchdown to make it 31-12. Tigers in purples in front. But again, Slidell doesn't go away. Jaquan Jones, he's in the end zone to make it a 31-20 score. And then Slidell in the fourth quarter. Jones again. This is a 31-26 game. Slidell is not going away. But hey, Teague, a firm believer in, going for his 4th touchdown pass of the game. That in the hands of Singleton. 38-26. Maybe that sealed the game, but just in case, first play after a significant quarterback injury, Al Jarreau, Walker, all over that one, his second pick of the game, this one, all the way back to the crib, and Hahnville, an exclamation point as they again pull away from Slidell in the end to win it 52-39.
Yeah, you get in those high-scoring games, it comes down to defense. What defense is going to get the critical stop or get the critical turnover? You see Hahnville does that and secures this victory.
Turnovers are always a big deal, that's for sure.
Great job to Malter Scoble and Greg Boyne for getting Hahnville ready to go right there.
All right, the team we talked about that was playing their first ever playoff game in that home stadium, that would be the Warriors of St. Michael. And hosting the Wolves of Loranger, St. Michael on offense, Nathan Contine with the rock, Asher Hatfield with the defensive play, a loss of 3. Loranger's defense started out well, and they continue to carry on. Contine on the carry around the left side, brought down just short of the goal line, but he'll finish what he started. Muscles in for the touchdown. St. Michael up to a 7-0 lead. Loranger tries to respond. Cooper Flanagan airs this one out to Darius Holland. A first down for Loranger. It led to this. Flanagan over the middle to Holland in the end zone for the touchdown. They would trail 7-6 in the first half. It was only 14-6 about midway through the third quarter, but then St. Michael really started piling up the points. And congratulations to the Warriors. New stadium, successful season, playoff win. St. Michael ends up rolling in this one 35-12.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I've been really impressed with the job those guys have done at St. Michael. They've really turned that program around and really got it rolling. So hats off to them, and good luck to them the rest of the way.
All right, we come back. We'll have a few more highlights, I think, and then some of those scoreboards to get you updated on other action. Week 1 of the playoffs, Friday night in the booth.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
At At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Welcome back to Friday Night in the Booth. Steve Schneider, Brett Beard. What you say we go out on a Wampus Cat video? Leesville hosting Kenner Discovery, and Leesville, the home team. First play on offense. Quarterback Trell Broom, who's a good one. Long pass to Julius Brown, and he is going to walk into the end zone. 7-0, Wampus Cats in front. 5 minutes left in the first quarter, 35-yard line. Broom finds Mike Davis Jr. way out in front. Too fast for the Kenner Discovery defense. Leesville up 14-0. They also played some defense. How about this fourth down, second quarter? Struggling right there, and Leesville's going to cash in. Grant Braxton, 52-7. Leesville will advance. Kenner Discovery's Swamp Owls eliminated from the playoffs. Take a quick look at some scores as we're just about out of time. And some of the other scores from around the state, I believe we do have that. There we go. Opelousas Catholic over Ascension Catholic, St. Thomas More over Lafayette. You see the other scores there on your screen. Time to say goodbye, Brett Beard. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
See you next time.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
When looking for a college, I wanted somewhere that would push me and allow me to kind of be the person I'd always wanted to be.
Everyone here kind of has this mindset of seeing the next person succeed, and I think that just creates a Southern Miss spirit.
You find what you need out of Southern Miss. What I need isn't what another student needs, but we all find something here.
You don't have to be what people have said you've been. You don't have to be what people think you are. Like, coming to Southern Miss, you can totally reinvent yourself and be who you truly feel like you are meant to be.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.